Welcome back to True Crime Chronicles, where we explore the stories behind today's most significant headlines. I'm your host, and today we're bringing you a deeply troubling case from Athens, Georgia. The tragic death of Laken Riley, a promising nursing student whose life was cut short under horrific circumstances.
The events that unfolded on that February morning have not only devastated a family and community, but have also sparked intense discussions about campus safety and broader societal issues. In today's episode, we'll examine the details surrounding this heartbreaking case and discuss the upcoming bench trial of Jose Antonio Ibarra, the man accused of her murder.
We'll look at how this tragedy has affected the Athens community, its impact on the political landscape, and most importantly, remember the vibrant young woman whose dreams were tragically cut short. We'll also explore the implications this case has for campus safety protocols and community awareness.
What makes this case particularly challenging is not just the senseless loss of life, but how it has become a focal point for various social and political debates. However, at its core, this is the story of a 22-year-old student whose future was stolen in broad daylight on what should have been a routine morning jog.
Let me tell you about Laken Riley. She was a vibrant 22-year-old nursing student at Augusta University's College of Nursing in Athens, pursuing her dreams of helping others in the medical field. Those who knew her described her as dedicated, compassionate, and always wearing a warm smile that could brighten anyone's day.
On the morning of February 22nd, Laken did what many students do as part of their daily routine. She left her apartment for a morning jog. The weather was mild, typical for a Georgia winter, and there was nothing to suggest this day would end in tragedy.
When Laken didn't return from her run and wasn't responding to messages, her friends knew something was wrong. This wasn't like her at all. She was responsible, reliable, and always kept in touch. Their growing concern led them to report her missing to local authorities.
What followed was a desperate search across the University of Georgia campus area. Law enforcement, along with the university police, conducted an extensive search operation. Tragically, their efforts led them to a wooded area behind Lake Herrick on the UGA campus.
There, they made the devastating discovery of Laken's body. The location, a seemingly peaceful spot where students often go to study or exercise, had become the scene of an unthinkable crime. The medical examiner would later confirm what investigators feared. Laken had suffered severe trauma, and her death was ruled a homicide.
The area where Laken was found wasn't far from her regular jogging route, a path that countless students and community members had used safely countless times before. This fact only added to the shock and horror that rippled through the Athens community, challenging their sense of security in a place they'd always considered safe.
The investigation quickly led authorities to Jose Antonio Ibarra, a 26-year-old Venezuelan citizen. The charges against him are severe and numerous. Felony murder, malice murder, aggravated battery, aggravated assault, false imprisonment, kidnapping, and assault with intent to rape.
What's particularly noteworthy in this case is Ibarra's recent decision to waive his right to a jury trial, instead opting for a bench trial where a judge alone will determine his fate. This decision, made just days before the scheduled court date, has raised eyebrows in the legal community.
The evidence gathered by investigators paints a disturbing picture. According to University Police Chief Jeff Clark, there was absolutely no connection between Ibarra and Riley prior to this incident. The police believe this was truly a random act of violence, what they're calling a crime of opportunity.
Investigators discovered that Ibarra had been living less than a mile from the campus area where the crime occurred. They were able to gather significant evidence, including surveillance footage from the morning of February 22nd, which they say places him in the vicinity during the time of Riley's disappearance.
The prosecution has built their case around physical evidence collected at the scene, digital evidence from surveillance systems, and what they describe as significant forensic findings. They're confident these elements will prove beyond doubt that Ibarra is responsible for this horrific crime.
The randomness of this attack has sent shockwaves through the community. As Chief Clark emphasized, this wasn't a targeted attack. It was a tragic case of someone being in the wrong place at the wrong time, which makes it all the more terrifying for residents and students alike.
The aftermath of Laken Riley's death quickly evolved beyond a criminal case, becoming a flashpoint in the national immigration debate. Within days of the arrest, several political figures, including former President Donald Trump, began using this tragedy to advocate for stricter border policies and immigration reform.
The suspect's status as a Venezuelan citizen who had entered the country illegally became a central focus of media coverage and political discourse. This sparked intense debates about immigration policies and border security measures.
However, it's crucial to note the family's perspective on this politicization. Laken's father, Jason Riley, made a powerful statement expressing his frustration with how his daughter's death was being used as a political tool.
Yes, and Jason Riley specifically said, "My daughter's death should not be used to advance any political agenda. She was a kind, compassionate person who wanted to help others through nursing. That's how she should be remembered."
The case has also highlighted the complex intersection of public safety, immigration policy, and the human cost of these debates. While some argue for systemic changes, others emphasize the importance of focusing on Laken's memory and the impact she had on her community.
And perhaps most importantly, we must remember that at the center of this political storm is a family grieving the loss of their beloved daughter, sister, and friend. Their primary concern isn't about policy debates. It's about honoring Laken's memory and seeking justice for her death.